In 1892, when immigration first started in the U.S. at Ellis Island, and immigrants came pouring in, they were already seen as inferior and already had lower rights than those of white citizens. This can be seen through the stimulus material by James Poster, U.S. millennials more likely to support censoring offensive statements toward minorities. He states that 58% of people believe that offensive speech toward minorities is okay. Meanwhile, a study done at Wisconsin University states that 72% of people say that offensive speech toward white people is not okay. This made me wonder, why is there this big divide of inequality between minorities and Americans? This is a suppression of people's rights is a common theme in the stimulus material. When librarians are silenced by Francine Poe's James Poster article that was mentioned previously, and Banksy's photo by Banksy. This theme made me come to the question: to what extent does the 14th Amendment impact immigrants in the U.S.? Through my research, I came to the conclusion that the 14th Amendment does not protect immigrants' rights as much as it should. First, through economic prosperity, we can see that immigrants do not have the same rights as, or are not seen as equals to normal citizens. Jason Furman, the head of the Council of Economic Advisory for Barack Obama, states that 18% of businesses are owned by immigrants and that immigrants generate $776 billion annually. Adding to this, the GDP goes up by 1%, and the per capita income goes up by $1,700. All of these pros of immigrants are usually not seen to normal people. This is because of people like Alex Norista, an immigration policy analyst from Harvard University, that states that just because the salary goes down by 2.1%, which is due to the fact that most immigrants are, in fact, deal with heavy labor and are mostly blue-collar jobs, that people believe that that immigrants are here to do the low work. But this is not true because, as stated previously, 18% of businesses are owned by immigrants. Next, we have the constitutional rights. These rights are like the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship, which is the first section of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is the Civil Rights Amendment and is the amendment that ended slavery through Abraham Lincoln. Birthright citizenship is when, if you're born in the U.S., you are a citizen of the U.S. This is a highly debated topic because of illegal immigration of people from Mexico into the U.S. and then them having children, and then those children being considered U.S. citizens. People like Donald Trump believe that this is not good and that illegal immigrants is taking away jobs and just causing chaos in the nation. Tom Jowitz, the vice president of immigration policy at American Progress, believes that unity is the only way for economic prosperity, for political efficiency, and for the nation to advance as a whole. ACLU, the American Civil Rights Union, believes that because immigrants are not specifically specified in the 14th Amendment, unlike how African Americans are specified, that people see that they do not have to use the same rights as they do with everybody else with immigrants. They believe that they can be discriminated just because they're not specified in the Constitution. James Ho, a constitutional litigator, believes that the 14th Amendment covers that everybody has the same rights, but it's just the views of people that needs to change so that everybody has the same rights. Through my research, I came to the solution that we must amend the 14th Amendment to specifically state that immigrants have the same rights as everybody else. This is much like what Abraham Lincoln did in the 14th Amendment during the Civil War, after the Civil War, to abolish slavery. so that everybody was equal. This is not a viable solution because, according to the government, it takes about 7 years for the amendment process to occur. And also, the amendment process only occurred once, which is the 18th Amendment, which is prohibition of alcohol, which was amended by the 21st Amendment. Therefore, I recommend that high-power people such as high-power immigrants should talk about immigration rights and immigrants' rights, and people would definitely listen to what they have to say because they are people of high influence. Also, by 2020, immigrants are expected to exceed the amount of citizens. This means that if this divide continues, that there will be probably another civil war and more internal turmoil than there has ever been.